everybody. Welcome to yet another episode of Who the Hell Asked. I'm your host, Slade, alongside Byron.
Hey,
And
yeah.
we are going to be covering breaking news this week. So,
So
crazy thing happened yesterday. Microsoft and Activision deal was prevented by the CMA
yes,
in the UK.
it was. This story was too big to wait till Sunday to cover it. We may still have a regular Sunday show, but yeah, Microsoft and the Activision deal was prevented to protect innovation and choice in cloud gaming.
Yeah, pretty interesting choice. I know some people pointed out that cloud gaming could actually be like a thorn in Microsoft's side in terms of getting this acquisition done.
Yeah.
But personally, I kind of felt like in today's day and age, when it comes to like big corporations and whatnot, politicians as well as like these kind of teams that they put together to like approve these things tend to either look the other way or just follow the big money. So the fact that they blocked it entirely is actually quite stunning.
Yeah, something to point out, cloud gaming is not that big in the grand scheme of the gaming space right now. At this point, I believe it's like 1% of like the entire industry, or a very small percent of the industry at this moment in time. Now, obviously, it could be a threat years from now, and obviously, they pointed out Microsoft already accounts for an estimated 60 to 70% of global cloud gaming services, and has other important strengths in cloud gaming, from owning Xbox, the leading PC operating system, and a global computing infrastructure in Microsoft Azure. So, yeah, those are perfectly valid things to point out, that they do have the leading operating system and that they have Microsoft Azure. So,
yeah, but I just don't understand how they could see this potential acquisition as anything other than trying to get uneven ground with Sony, because they also handed out a survey to like lots of fans of like Sony and whatnot, why you purchase a PlayStation, and there's a lot of conflicting results to where those fans didn't exactly answer in a way that made total sense when answering each question. So I think 78% of the fans that voted on the survey, I don't know if you have a link to it, Byron.
I do not, but you can go on.
Yeah, 78% of the fans, I believe, voted voted that they buy PlayStations for titles like GTA, Call of Duty, and so on and so forth. Basically, the multi-platform, super casual titles.
Yeah, your GTAs, your FIFAs, your Maddens, your CODs.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
But another crazy thing is, on that same poll and those same fans voting on it, another 70% said, I also buy PlayStation for the exclusives. Which
they're
completely and totally contradicts that first point.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't buy PlayStation for exclusives, which I think ultimately for anybody with any form of like common sense in gaming media, of course you buy consoles for exclusives.
Yeah.
Why else would anybody buy a Nintendo console otherwise other than novelty?
Because like,
if it weren't for exclusive titles like Mario and Zelda.
Yeah, because Nintendo, for a long-ass time, has been carried by their incredible, by the way, for the most part, incredible lineup of first-party games, IP, and developers. So, yeah.
So, obviously, with the threat of Call of Duty going exclusive, that would be pretty massive to the casual market.
Yeah.
I personally think this is a great thing that it's being blocked. I'm just surprised that it's happening.
I'm surprised it's for this reason, and not the concern over potential console exclusivity.
Yeah, and I thought the idea of Call of Duty being available on Game Pass with like access to like all the Battle Pass for free as long as you're a Game Pass subscriber was a much more threatening and scary prospect to PlayStation than whatever this cloud thing they got going on.
Yeah, but this also raises some questions. What's going to happen to some of these deals that were quote-unquote made from this? Like, will Call of Duty actually come to Nintendo now? Who the fuck knows? Will Call of Duty go to GeForce now? Fuck no, because Activision doesn't want their games on cloud services because that doesn't make them money. And you want to know who else I kind of feel bad for in this situation, to be honest? The employees. Because they would have been a lot better under the Microsoft umbrella than under piece of shit Bobby Kotick.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm 100% inclined to agree on that.
Yeah.
Saying that I think the change of leadership would have been great for the Activision Blizzard employees overall.
Yeah, absolutely.
That being said, I do not think the CMA decision is far from the final word whether the deal is going to go through or not. Obviously, we have a response from Microsoft. They vow to appeal the UK regulators as their acquisition is blocked.
Yep.
Like I said, I can't imagine that Microsoft's going to take this, lying down.
Yeah.
If nothing else, they have an absolute shit ton of money to throw at the problem.
Yeah.
And we'll see if money ends up being what decides it. But again, I personally think this is, great for the industry overall.
Yeah, we have a quote from Microsoft Vice Chair and President Brad Smith saying, "We remain fully committed to this acquisition and will appeal. The CMA's decision rejects a pragmatic path to address competition concerns and discourages technology innovation and investment in the United Kingdom. We have already signed contracts to make Activision Blizzard's popular games available on 150 million more devices." That definitely partially includes Nintendo in that one.
That's definitely mostly Nintendo Switches and anything else.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. And we remain committed to reinforcing these agreements through regulatory remedies. We're especially disappointed that after lengthy deliberations, this decision appears to reflect a flawed understanding of this market and the way the relevant cloud technology actually works. So, some hard-hitting punches. I do agree that it will stifle some competition concerns because Sony is kicking Microsoft's ass up and down.
Yeah.
I think it's like a 2-to-1 or 4-to-1 console sales between.
Oh, yeah, it kind of makes you wonder how much money Sony's putting into all the opposition to the acquisition of Activision Blizzard.
Yeah, well, that and of course, the money hatting of certain exclusives or certain games to be exclusive to platforms, whether it's for a limited amount of time or whether it's a full-on exclusivity.
Honestly, I'm hoping this kind of halts or slows down the train of companies acquiring much smaller companies en masse.
Yeah,
that we've been seeing over the past 5 to 6 years or so.
Yeah, Sony acquiring Firewalk, okay, they haven't made a single game, yeah, whatever.
I'm talking about other situations where Bungie is acquired by so and so company or so on and so forth.
Oh yeah, Bethesda
Bethesda
ZeniMax
being acquired by Microsoft.
Yeah,
yes, that's something that I would like to see a lot less of.
Yeah, and speaking of the far from the final word, Bobby Kotick shared a statement saying the CMA's decision is, quote, far from the final word, and stating that the deal is good for competition. What do you think of that statement? Do you think this deal is good for competition?
Egregiously false. I think it's good for Microsoft in terms of being able to take the large casual audience of Call of Duty and make it essentially exclusive, because let's be honest, they would take Call of Duty off PlayStation and it's not exclusive. You could play it on Nintendo and your mobile devices
and Steam, you always have been able to. But
the definitive experiences of those games are going to be on either PC or on console.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, the Switch isn't going to keep up, and neither is your mobile phone.
Yeah, maybe the Switch 2 or Next Switch or Super Switch or whatever it's called, maybe that will keep up a little bit more.
Even then, I doubt it.
Yeah, we'll see, though, on that. But yeah, and Bobby Kotick continued alongside Microsoft, we can and will contest this decision, and we've already begun the work to appeal to the UK Competition Appeals Tribunal, the CAT, which you go through that first which apparently, from what I have read, the success rate is not great for getting appeals from the CAT. It's like 67 to 70% from what I've read. Appeals do not go through, so it's not terrible, but like, especially.
I don't know. I mean, Microsoft's also one of the richest companies in the world, so
Yeah.
I imagine if they throw enough money at it, they probably at least reopen the case for it.
Yeah, and in a statement, in its statement, the CMA said its decision to block the deal comes after Microsoft's proposed solution failed to effectively address the concerns in the cloud gaming sector outlined in the CMA's provisional findings published in February, which I believe we did cover those back in February. But yeah, interesting position Microsoft is in, considering all of this, and considering we got some financial numbers that in the gaming sector, Xbox content and services revenue grew 3%. Hardware revenue declined 30% on a prior year, and gaming revenue overall declined 4%. So some interesting numbers there. So
yeah, the content and services being up 3% is actually crazy because that's actually where most of their profit is coming from.
Yeah.
I think stuff like Xbox Game Pass and all that. So their stock actually went up in spite of the news that the acquisition of Activision got halted.
Yeah, because Microsoft as a whole, I believe, has been making money this fiscal year quarter. So
yeah, which is, bucking the trend of the rest of the tech industry, which is
but it's
pretty
Microsoft.
insane,
they have Windows. They
That's
have
true.
Windows.
That's absolutely true. So overall, it's a great thing that the CMA blocked it, even if I think the reason that they blocked it, it's kind of on shaky ground.
Yeah, which Microsoft are going to fight to the death too. But
which is why I'm not confident that this is going to stand overall. I think, again, and this is not, an indictment of like the government over in the UK or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like in today's day and age, modern governments tend to move the way that large money moves.
Yeah.
Whether that's for better or worse. Honestly, it's just straight up worse.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of politicians that are fucking bought out and paid for is insane.
Yeah, but my question to you, do you personally think this is going to be worth the effort for Microsoft if they end up still getting denied?
Okay, so let's talk about the two realities. So let's say they get denied by the CMA, the appeals works again. I think it would behoove them to continue to fight the process and continue to try to make the acquisition roll through any means possible. Because Call of Duty as a franchise, even though it's not quite the giant it once was, it is still one of the largest casual franchises out there in media.
Yeah, it's like up there with
removing that from their competition in PlayStation would be absolutely ginormous for them.
Yeah, like COD is still up there with your GTAs, your FIFAs, your Maddens, your Minecrafts of the world. Still
yeah,
up.
that'd be like, what if fucking Sony bought Rockstar Games or something?
Yeah,
like, that'd be insane.
That would.
I could not imagine Microsoft wouldn't fight to the last in order to make this acquisition go through.
Yeah. Which it seems like they're going to, and I'm going to give my take real quick. Because, like, obviously, there's another factor to this outside of the CMA. We have the FTC, first off, with that whole shit show. I'm not even going to call it a lawsuit. It's just a shit show right now.
Yeah.
And then we still have yet to hear from the European Commission. But it feels like with this decision, that could sway what the European Commission says. And I think it's a possibility that they block it as well. And if that does happen, I think Microsoft should just pay Activision-Blizzard-King the $3 billion or however much in fees and just spend the rest of their money trying to get their first-party studios straightened in line. As we have talked about, 343 is a shit show right now, and their first-party studios aren't in the greatest shape right now because they have a lot of games in development. They just haven't been able to release them and get those studios more pipelined down like Sony and Nintendo have been able to do.
And more importantly, and I think this is something that behooved them really well, they need to start shilling out money to get these third parties to make exclusives for them.
Yeah, like
third parties make exclusives for PlayStation and Nintendo all the time.
Yeah, like
it's insane that Microsoft isn't trying to get in on that.
Yeah, like I think if the EC, the European Commission, denies this deal, I think they should leave this deal behind, pay the $3 billion, spend the rest of that money that was going to go towards this deal towards your first party studios, get them all geared up, get them efficient enough to be able to get developing games, releasing games, so people have a reason to buy your consoles, so that we don't see another 30% down for console sales for hardware. And you know, and money hat for third party games, which it's gonna be an interesting war if that happens. Like, oh, Sony and Microsoft are gonna be shit flinging over who's gonna get what game exclusive to their platform for X number of months or a year or whatever.
I think this, whether the acquisition goes through or not, have much larger implications than we realize.
Yes.
I think there's a possibility this deal falls apart and Microsoft ended up getting like a huge loss for it or whatever like that.
Yeah.
That Microsoft just might exit the console industry entirely. I think that's a real possibility.
It is. I think even if that possibility, they might try one more generation, but
yeah, I would be inclined to think that like they went out and acquired Bethesda and ZeniMax Studios, and whatnot, and they haven't released any exclusives for them yet.
Well, we're about to get one real soon in Starfield, in
Starfield, and then you're gonna have Elder Scrolls coming out as well eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
We just haven't seen any of their acquisitions or any of their first-party studios put out something that people are like, oh my gosh, I just have to play, then I have to buy it.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, we're going to keep kicking this dead horse, but Halo Infinite, man.
Halo Infinite really had a lot riding on it, and the fact that it completely fell apart coming out the gate was not what Microsoft needed from 343 Studios.
Yeah, like, the Forza games seem to be doing all right. They seem to be doing well enough.
Yeah, but Forza's in a crowded market with like a lot of other racing titles.
Yeah,
that, like,
it is a top dog in that category, but
yeah, but it's still a very crowded like market compared to like some of your big hitters.
Yeah,
and whatnot.
And maybe just maybe I'm a little bit crazy here. I know you want Crash and Spyro, Microsoft, but you fucking have Banjo right there on the table. You have Lucky, the little cute squirrel. You have platformer characters right there. sorry.
The reason why I don't feel confident for that to work is because I don't think Rare has the talent to make a 3D platformer, kind of like how they're making their open world adventure games like Sea of Thieves and stuff like that.
I'm not even talking about Rare for Banjo. I don't care who you give it to. Give it to somebody.
What other studio is going to work on it that's going to have that same level of success? I don't think they've acquired somebody that's quite as comfortable in the 3D platforming area.
Well, there's Double Fine, but Double Fine are probably working on Psychonauts 3. At least I fucking hope they're working on a Psychonauts 3.
See, I just don't think the studio fits the product that you're wanting. I don't think Double Fine would be.
Well, no. I was joking at Double Fine, but they're probably making Psychonauts 3 over there.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I just don't think they have like the studio that would be able to deliver a 3D platform that'd be ultimately satisfying. And not only that, but like, if you're talking about making a 3D platform in general, you also consider your target audience. I don't think any of the target audience even wants to play 3D platformers. Like, let's be real with you. I feel like 3D platformers on every other device than Nintendo devices just die.
And maybe Steam. Steam has a lot of those.
That's true. I think Steam does a pretty fantastic job.
Yeah, because there's a lot of indies now
department
making them. But the only reason I'm bringing up platformers is because I remember, I think from years ago, that Phil Spencer wanted to have the more cartoony style games on Xbox. And like if Activision Blizzard does get acquired, they've got Crash and Spyro right there for that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Like I said, I don't see the audience for a new Banjo game or like any rare style game being there outside of maybe Perfect Dark.
Yeah, which that is in development for who knows when, but yeah, like if this deal gets
hell, go Nuclear, try to get a 007 exclusive made.
Oh, that would be that would be a use of the 60-something billion, but like yeah, you said earlier this could have shockwaves. Like, if this deal gets denied in general, like, good luck buying the EAs of the world. Good luck buying the Take-Twos of the world. Like, those types of companies are going to be off the table completely in the gaming landscape to be attempted to be acquired.
For companies that might be writing on it, like, a lot of people are speculating that even though Sega's a really good, really large third-party, like, publisher and whatnot, there's a lot of speculation that they want to be acquired by some fucking much larger company.
Which is interesting considering we just covered them acquiring a company themselves in Rovio.
So, like, honestly, it's just like, I feel like, again, you don't want to see companies that large get acquired by much larger multi-billion-dollar corporations. You don't want to see that.
Yeah, like... Microsoft could fight this tooth and nail, and they want to. It seems like. But like personally, I think this is the start of the death knell for this deal. To be honest with you, but
I think if they can't get this appeal to possibly overturn the decision to CMA, going very quickly. Or if one of the other, like the FTC or the EU and whatnot also denied the deal for whatever reason they come up with, then I agree with you. I think the deal's dead. It's like dead in the water.
Yeah,
at that point.
Like, and look, Microsoft could use that money to do better things, fight Sony in the money hack game, put some money into these first-party studios to get them to be at an efficient level like a Sony, even though, like, right now they don't have many games, like, known, but we'll probably get a showcase from them fairly soon, and of course Nintendo and that powerhouse. But yeah, very interesting. Now look, and to be fair, we didn't think, like, Slade may have predicted, I think that like he would want this deal to not happen, but we both thought, this deal's happening, and look where we are now. This deal may not happen. It might actually be dead on sight.
Which is honestly fantastic for the industry as a whole, but again, I don't know, just when you have the kind of sway and like power that a company like Microsoft has, I just don't want to rule it out yet. I just think that, like, again, this is one of those things where maybe the solution for them is just to throw more fucking money at the problem.
We'll see what happens. It is very interesting. Very, very interesting times with this deal. If anything happens over the next few days, we will include it in the main show on Sunday. And, of course, we're going to have a whole bunch of other stories from throughout the week in the main episode on Sunday. But, yeah, we wanted to break this to you because this is such a big deal, actually, in the grand scheme of things. We couldn't wait till Sunday to cover this.
Yeah.
God, what a crazy time.
It's going to be everything. Yeah, like I said, absolutely, like, crazy twist, turn of events. Again, I was like, it seemed to be progressing pretty smoothly. They even played this whole, like, anti-Sony angle.
Yeah.
Like, Sony having their fingers in the market as well as dominating the market as a whole.
Yeah, like, and what happens to Call of Duty marketing deals? Because we've heard Bobby Kotick and Activision aren't fucking happy with Sony because Sony aren't answering calls, and it's about that time to negotiate a new marketing contract.
Yep, and maybe I imagine if this deal falls through, maybe Active Blizzard who's suddenly not very bullish on getting that contract done.
Maybe they get it done with Microsoft.
Yeah,
maybe we see that tide turn for once. interesting.
And maybe they flipped that decision on the Nintendo getting fucking 10 years of Call of Duty time.
Maybe.
Who's gonna buy those? Seriously, who's going to buy those? Let's be real.
Who's gonna buy COD on the Switch? Like, to be honest, neither of us will, for sure.
Yeah, I can't imagine anybody would want to play.
I couldn't either. But
well, anyway, this has been Slade,
and this has been Byron, and what a time we're in. We'll see you all later for more of that gaming news goodness. Bye bye, everybody.